October 29, 2025. Tonight, southern Mexico is living a nightmare along its Pacific coast. Hurricane Erick, a monstrous Category 4 storm with sustained winds near 170 mph, has slammed into the state of Oaxaca, home to Puerto Escondido and some of Mexico's most beloved tourist beaches. What should have been the heart of the tourism season has turned into a vision of devastation. Entire neighborhoods are underwater, beaches are unrecognizable, and streets have vanished beneath surging tides. The National Weather Service of Mexico confirms that Erick made landfall late Monday night, striking while many families slept. Over 10 inches of rain have already fallen across coastal towns, with more deluges expected as the storm creeps inland. Power is gone. Roads are impassable. Thousands are trapped in rising waters, waiting in darkness for help that may not come soon enough. This is Hurricane Erick, and Oaxaca is in crisis. We're trying to make it to the bridge right now. Erick struck when the coast was at its weakest, deep in the night, long after shops had closed and homes had gone quiet. The distant whine of wind escalated into a violent roar. Windows shattered, roofs tore off like paper, and palm trees snapped clean in half. The peaceful paradise of Puerto Escondido descended into chaos and terror. Waves towering 20 to 26 feet smashed over seawalls, swallowing beachfront roads and bursting through homes and businesses. Restaurants along Main Bay were gutted, their walls collapsing under the pressure of the surge. Furniture, refrigerators, and entire decks were carried away, swallowed by the furious ocean. Residents fled with whatever they could carry. Parents held their children tight, beams from flashlights slicing through black floodwaters. Tourists who had come seeking sunsets now cowered in stairwells as buildings groaned and cracked around them. One rescue officer recalled, "There was no warning. 1 minute we were checking the radar. The next, the ocean was inside the city." Hurricane Erick didn't just hit Oaxaca. It ambushed it. As Erick's wind screamed through the darkness, survival became the only mission. Families climbed onto rooftops, into attics, onto balconies, anywhere above the raging surge. Streets turned into rivers powerful enough to sweep away cars and hurl them into storefronts. Cell networks collapsed, cutting off cries for help. Firefighters and National Guard units launched rescue boats into narrow, debris-choked streets, guided only by flashlights and voices shouting through the storm. Some rescues were acts of pure instinct. Neighbors linked arms to reach an elderly couple fighting to stay above the water. A group of surfers paddled out to save people trapped behind collapsing seawalls. One mother, drenched and trembling, described the moment the water burst into her home. "It wasn't rising. It was rushing. We grabbed the kids and ran. We didn't look back." Every second was a gamble between life and death. In the pitch-black night, with no power and no guarantee of rescue, thousands waited in fear as the storm continued to tear the coast apart. Meteorologists had warned that Hurricane Erick formed under conditions both perfect and terrifying. Sea surface temperatures off Mexico's Pacific coast were 2 to 4 degrees higher than average, feeding the storm with unrelenting energy. The air was thick with moisture and wind shear. The force that usually weakens hurricanes was unusually low. In less than 24 hours, Erick transformed from a dangerous system into a 170 mph monster, one of the fastest intensifying hurricanes ever recorded in the eastern Pacific. But the real horror came when the storm slowed. Crawling over the coastline, Erick unleashed endless torrents of rain. In the mountains, more than 14 inches triggered massive landslides, cutting off villages and burying homes in mud. Floodwaters swept through valleys while storm surges devoured beaches and highways. Scientists warn that Erick is not an exception, but a glimpse of what's to come. As oceans warm, storms are becoming stronger, wetter, and slower. The Pacific is changing, and millions living along its shores may soon face their own Erick. For thousands of families across Oaxaca, everything changed in one terrible night. Parents carried their children through chest-deep water. Tourists ran through the darkness as roofs collapsed. In fishing villages, survivors said the storm sounded like a freight train made of thunder. ripping the ocean from its depths and throwing it onto land. Many communities were struck in their sleep, some waking to water rushing beneath their doors, others to glass exploding inward from 170-point-4-inch winds. "We held our children and prayed the house would stay standing," one father said. Over 8,000 residents are now displaced, taking shelter in schools, churches, and emergency centers. More than 250,000 people are without power. Communication is patchy, fuel is scarce, and gas stations are underwater. Doctors say the emotional wounds may outlast the physical ones. Children cry at sudden noises, and parents dread the fall of night. Yet, amid the devastation, neighbors are helping neighbors, pulling debris, digging through ruins, clinging to hope that once the storm leaves, their spirit will remain. Mexico has now launched one of its largest coastal emergency operations in years. Over 4,000 soldiers, Marines, National Guard units, and medical teams have been deployed. Convoys push through debris-clogged highways, delivering fuel, food, and generators to cut off towns. Helicopters sweep over shattered villages, searching for survivors. Rescue boats navigate flooded streets where waves still crash against broken seawalls. Red alerts remain active across western Oaxaca. More than 14 shelters are open. Evacuations continue as the storm surge threat persists. Power crews work through the night to restore electricity. Damaged hospitals are receiving backup generators and critical supplies. International agencies, including the U.S. National Hurricane Center, are coordinating real-time tracking as Erick drifts northwest. But responders warn, the danger is not over. With soaked hillsides ready to collapse and rivers overflowing, flash floods and landslides may still strike long after the winds die down. Hurricane Erick has exposed a grim truth. Mexico's Pacific coast stands on the front line of a warming planet. Once rare superstorms, this powerful, this wet, this slow, are becoming the new reality. Record ocean temperatures have turned the sea into fuel for destruction, giving rise to storms that strengthen faster than communities can prepare. The devastation goes beyond wind and rain. Aging infrastructure collapses, low-lying homes vanish in minutes, and entire coastal economies built on tourism and fishing crumble overnight. For thousands of families, Erick washed away not just their homes, but their futures. Erick was not just another hurricane. It was a warning, a reminder that survival cannot depend on luck. Coastlines must be rebuilt stronger, smarter, and faster. Preparedness must become a way of life. As the tides creep further inland and the storms grow stronger each year, one question can no longer be ignored. How many more Ericks must strike before we act? Tonight, Oaxaca stands at the crossroads of fear and courage. Families huddle in dark shelters, rescuers wade through flooded streets, and the ocean keeps pushing against a land that refuses to give up. Hurricane Erick is not only testing infrastructure, it is testing the human spirit. Yet, even amid ruin, there is resilience. A neighbor helping another through the flood, a rescuer refusing to rest, a family clinging to hope beneath a battered roof. Recovery will take time. Healing will be hard. But one truth stands unbroken. Oaxaca will rise again. As climate-fueled superstorms grow more frequent, staying informed is no longer optional. It's vital. If you care about protecting lives, if you believe preparedness saves families, if you want to stay alert when nature turns dangerous, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and never miss a critical update. We'll continue tracking Hurricane Erick every hour, bringing you the latest on evacuations, damage, and the long road to recovery. Stay aware, stay prepared,